Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us today for our What's New in One View ModioU. I'm going to pause here for another minute or so as people are still signing in so we can give everyone another minute or two. We'll get started shortly. While we're waiting for people to join and connect to audio, if you haven't already, please feel free to fill out that 3-question poll that's currently live on the screen. Um, that helps us a lot. So if you can, please fill that out. And we'll give it again another minute or so to let everyone join. At the bottom of your Zoom toolbar, there is like a QA feature. So please use that Q&A section to ask any questions at any point during our ModioU today. You're welcome to add any questions, and sometimes we'll wait to the end to answer some of those questions. So I promise we're not ignoring you. We just like to go ahead and answer some of those live. We'll give it another minute. For those who have just joined, if you could please fill out that 3-question poll that's currently live on the screen, that would be greatly appreciated. Should take like a second or two. So we can go ahead and get started. So again, this is our What's New in One View. We do this very frequently, so it's almost like a series. So let's move on to what our agenda is for today. So we're just going to talk about some of the platform updates. So logins v2, read-only v2, provider tags in v2. So a lot of exciting new features. Let's go ahead and move on to some more of our agenda items. Just some overall platform updates. So like alert intervals, a CV generator for like the logo, and then again, we'll have that open Q&A towards the end. Again, there is that Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. So at any point, go ahead and feel free to add a question in the chat, and myself and Leah and Kelsey, we will take care of those questions. As far as who our lead is going to be, we're going to have lovely Sierra and Brandon. So they're going to take over and host our ModioU today. I do just want to point out we do have our training and support page. So anything that we may talk about today, or maybe you have any other questions about other features within the platform, we do have the tip guides. So if you pretty much like PowerPoints and things like that, I highly recommend you take advantage of those tools there. They're very helpful. And then also stay tuned towards the end. We have like a very fun activity. So definitely don't log off too soon, just so you can participate. But with that being said, I will go ahead and I will let Sierra and Brandon take over. So let me stop sharing. Did I stop sharing? Can you guys still see my screen, or did I stop?
We can still see it.
You can.
I think I can replace.
Okay.
There we go. Is it my screen now?
It should be.
Perfect. All
Okay.
right.
Yes,
Let's
it is.
jump right in then. All right. So as Danessa already mentioned, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're super excited to show you all of the new things, and some of those being, read-only logins v2, read-only and logins v2. So those are two really big things that we want to show today. We're going to start off with the smaller features though. I'm going to start by clicking my v2 button here in the center of the screen. You should see it there. And as I'm waiting to get over to this screen, perfect. And as we always say when we open up this V2 screen here, if your setup is different or it's reordered, it looks a little different than my screen, that's totally normal. That's going to be able to be changed up top in the grid settings. Feel free to visit the ModioU page or the support page to view a tip guide on rearranging your screen. So a couple things. One, we have the provider tags, which is super exciting. So as you know, the provider tags that you see here in the provider info section are the same ones that you create on the team's dashboard in V1. So those that you see here, these are going to be what you call the provider tags. Now, previously, you could have the provider tags on the team's dashboard in V1 and also here under the tags column in provider info. But now you are able to incorporate those provider tags in some of your other grids as well. So let's say I'm going over to licensure, and this option you won't see, right off the bat. You do have to go in and tell it to view, allow that column to be there. So where I have my three dots menu in the top right corner of that grid, I'm going to click there. And you want to click, I like to call it the little booklet icon. It looks like a book to me. You click that booklet icon, and if you scooch down just a little bit, you will see an option in that menu to include provider tags. By default, this will not be checked. If it's something that you want to use, you must go in and select it. Now, you will still have the option to use the tags that, like the grid level tag. So if you already have tags created in that grid and you want to continue to use those, feel free to leave that one as well. But so I'm just going to include provider tags by checking that box. And as you already saw, there was a little shift on my screen, and we have these two right next to each other. So these provider tags, again, are going to be the same ones in that provider info section and on the team's dashboard for you. And then just like normal, you can go in and use those to filter. Continuing on, since we're already here within the licensure section, I'll move on to the next update that I wanted to talk about, which is going to be an update to the alert intervals. So I'm going to go back to my three dots menu. And if you're still seeing this menu, you want to make sure you click three dots one more time because it's like a tab there. And if you scroll down now, we have our alert intervals. So previously it was 30 days to 180 days, but now that has been updated and you can do either 7 days or 14 days. So you'll see this update anywhere where there are compliance items, basically where you see those alert bubbles. So if I were to click like this one's additional IDs and I go there, again, we have that option for 7 to 14 days. The last one I'm going to show from here as well, where you see, I'm going to go just scooch up just a little bit on my page. So we have our providers' names there. And if you right click, you have some menu options. And I'm going to cancel there. I didn't want to open inline editing. But if you right click, we have some options here. And there is the generate CV option. So now when you're generating the CV in V2, this is just in V2, it's not going to be an option in V1. So if you are here, you can generate CV. And when it comes to this screen where it allows you to tell like, hey, this is what I want to appear on the CV, you do have the option up top to check the box to include the team logo, which is really cool. So you can either upload, but I'm going to choose to download. That way we can all take a look at it. And while it's downloading, I'm going to just minimize this page just a second so we can get that CV here on the screen. It's opening up, it's working down below. There it is. Here's what it'll look like. So it'll have your team, your company logo at the top, and then it'll go in like normal with the provider's name and details. Perfect. I am going to go ahead and close that screen. Perfect. Before I continue on, Leah, team, are there any relevant questions to those features in the chat that we want to stop and address now?
Yeah, there are a couple good ones on there. The
Okay.
first one says, do the tags in the licensure grid show for all coordinators, or is that personal just to your own view?
So like being able to customize a view, if you go in and you make that change, it only changes it on your screen. It will not change the view for everyone else. But definitely if you decide like, hey, this is something that you want all of your coordinators to do, you can have like an internal conversation and tell everybody like, hey, let's all go in and check that provider tags column there.
Perfect. Thank you. And then there's another one. We get asked this one quite a bit. So, how do you collapse the action side panel in V2?
Well, this side panel, you cannot condense it right now. At this time, it doesn't allow you to hide that. So if it's there, well, it is there. So it's just there. You can't collapse it.
Um, I think I'm wondering if they were actually, uh,
This.
yes, thank you. That piece, yeah.
So, okay, so the actions column, this is the side panel. This can be shown by either clicking that. This looks like a retro TV to me. So if you click that little retro TV or that side panel, it'll open up that side panel there for you. And if you want to close this, there's a little arrow. You can hit that close. It'll leave open inline editing. Feel free to hit cancel there as well to close all that stuff out.
I was
Um,
gonna, oh, sorry, Leah.
Sorry, go ahead, Vanessa.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say there's two questions that I think would be good. One is how many tags per provider can be added?
That's a good question. So I always like to say the sky is the limit with tags. Like if you have certain providers and you have 10 tags or 5 tags and they fall under all of those, feel free to go ahead and add those tags. Leah, do you know for sure if there's like a cap on like, tags that you can add per provider?
I don't know that if there's a cap or a limit.
Mhm.
However, if you're getting to a point where you're adding like
Tw-
tons of tags, I would say maybe have an internal conversation with your organization, because it could get a little bit messy or hard to follow. There might be additional like filters already built in that could accommodate some of those tags. And if you need help or just kind of want to ping ideas off of somebody, reach out to support, reach out to your CSM, and we can help you talk through tags. But I wouldn't, I haven't seen like lots and lots of tags always being like the best solution. So we're happy to work through you with that, and finding a good workflow for your organization.
And to piggyback off of that, when you're in V2, there are lots of advanced filter options. So, like for sometimes folks like to use like specialty tag or title, or this really kind of takes out some of that as well. So feel free to kind of click through those columns, see what advanced filter options are already there. You can find them here. If this menu is missing, you just want to hit that filter icon in the top right corner to see what options you have to filter by.
Perfect. Thank you. And then one other one is are the alerts set across the board for everybody or just per user?
That's another one that's going to be per user. So again, with that big feature being able to go in and customize per coordinator, that's one of those things where that falls in that same line.
Thank you, Sierra.
Perfect. All right. So thank you guys. Those were great questions. Let's continue on. I'm super excited for the next part, which is logins. Now let's take a look at Logins V2. So when you go up top, we still have that same Logins tab. However, now when you click it, whether in V1 or V2, it will take you over to this screen. And just taking a quick look at it, it probably feels pretty familiar. One, because we're familiar with V2 by this point, and two, it has the same column options and a lot of the same icons that you would see in the original login screen. So the first column here is the account owner. This allows you to type in the name of the account owner to filter by. You can also filter by role. This one is a drop down. You can choose provider, coordinator, or facility. You also have state here. And a lot of times this one will say US, but when applicable, you will have the state there. And usually when the site name includes the state, that's where you'll see that state as an option. We then have type here. This one's also a drop down. So it'll tell you what type of login for that site name. So if we were to do like Paycos or something of that sort, then it would show that, hey, that's a healthcare payers or CAQH, Medicare. We then have the site name, and this one may actually be hidden. So I'll show you guys how to display that if you don't see that site name column. And then lastly, we have tags here, and you can filter by one or more tags, just like usual in V2 to filter there. And then our last updated column has the last time like any changes were made to that login. Over here, we have our actions column and we have our square arrow, I like to call it. This will take you over to to that login site. So if we choose this one, this is CAQH. And the really cool thing that I love about Logins V2 is the fact that you can actually copy the username and password. So once you use that square arrow to navigate to that site, you can hit your side panel, and this is where you'll be able to see all of the details of that login. And down below where we see our secure information, we see our username and password there. You can hit the eyeball to show. I'm going to hit my copy icon though. And this is going to go ahead and pick up that username and allow me to paste it here. And then for my password, the same thing. I can go ahead and hit my copy button and paste there. It does still paste hidden, so that's a plus. And you have the option to hit that eyeball if you want to just double check that password before hitting that sign in option. I'm going to close this screen. Also in the side panel, again, you see all the details for this login. If you click anywhere here under like custom, you can make a change. Also, if you want to update the username or password, it'll allow you to make changes by clicking there. And once you make changes, I'm going to make a change here. And I'm going to change my password. And from there, I'm going to hit my blue Save Changes button. And it is still hidden. If I want to display that, again, I can hit my eyeball. It'll show the new password that I've created as well as the note that I've left there. And if you want to add any tags, you can do that here as well. So you can select any tags that were previously created by hitting that drop down, and just like normal, you'll be able to see those. So if I want to give it a tag there, I'm going to give it the ModioU tag. I will click there and I'm going to condense this here. This allows us to see that we have added that tag. I can add a few more, so I'm going to go in and add just one more. And I'm going to say, hey, this is CAQH. I'm going to type in this field. And then you want to hit enter to lock in your new entry. And again, I'm going to collapse and we can see both tags there under the tags column. I'm going to go here one more time. Again, you have the option to access the site through the square arrow, and that is going to be inside that side panel as well. If you're wanting to edit tags, maybe remove them, you have that option too. Just go back and hit that small gray X. This will function as normal there. I'm going to close that side panel. We then have our flag icon. And as we usually say, when you're using the flag, you want to make sure that you have an internal conversation about what it means to use that flag record. Maybe it means the password needs to be updated or the username has been updated. So feel free again to have an internal conversation about what it means to use that flag, just to ensure that everyone is on the same page if that um, line item there is highlighted in that red color. The last option here is the deactivate record. So if I click there, it's going to ask, hey, are you sure? Once you deactivate there, we'll see it go from that list. And now we have the option to green plus to restore. So I can go ahead and green plus. There's also an option if I deactivate this record. I'm going to do it one more time. If I'm in my three dots menu here, there are some other filter options as usual. You have the show active record, and then it's show active providers or all providers or inactive or active for records and providers. So with that being said, I've made that active, that record inactive. If I filter to show inactive, then we'll be able to see a list of any other logins that we've made inactive, and you do have the option to restore. Also, you have the option to show active providers versus inactive. So if there are any profiles that you've made inactive, we don't have any, and they have logins, you'd be able to see them there. So I'm going to filter to show all, and I'm going to go in and filter all providers as well. So we can see all of our logins, both active and inactive, and same thing for those profiles. You also have your reporting options here as usual. So export to Excel, export to CSV, and export to PDF. If I select that export to PDF option, we can view that report. And again, we have our normal PDF report here. It will pull in all of the columns that you see there in the order that you have them arranged. So if I were to move anything around, again, the report does mirror that. The only thing that you probably notice that you don't see on the report is the username and passwords. By default, it will not pull those username and passwords onto the report. If you ever do decide like, hey, I want to see those username and passwords on a report, that is a separate request that you'll have to send over to support@modiohealth.com and just let them know that you have that need. I'm going to close this. I'm going to go up top and I'm going to add a login. I'm going to switch my filters back before I do to active and active. So I'm going to go up to the top right corner. You can use the add login button, or like usual within the grid, you can use the green plus. Either way, you'll get that same screen. So if I hit my add login here, again, this is going to feel pretty familiar. So first you'll select your account owner. In this instance, I'm going to use my provider, and I have my provider there. And then I'm going to enter my site name. So I'm going to do the state controlled substance license. And once you select the site name, again, it'll pull in the site URL. So I can hit my square arrow. Again, that'll navigate us directly to that site. From there, you can go ahead and include any tags. Again, we have our list of ones that we previously created. I can go in and add my new tag. I'm going to pull in that ModioU tag, but I'm also going to pull in maybe a state tag. So I'm going to put NC there, and I'm going to hit my enter to add that tag. And then I'm going to put my username and password. Again, by default, that password will be hidden. It's encrypted there, so I can hit my eyeball to see my password. And then you can include any notes. So I'm going to say password expires, and I'm going to say 7/28/26. Maybe it expires in 1 year. And from there, I can go and hit my green add login button here. And there we go. We have refreshed. And if I filter to my provider, there is my new login. We have our tags there that we've created. I'm going to add one more, and I'm going to use a custom site. So I'm going to take for that same provider, and I'm going to create a login there. And let's just say my provider has more than one login for this site. I'm going to use the same one. So I'm going to hit my green plus here, add login. I'm going to put my provider's name in there. And then site name, either you can search, but let's just say again, it's custom. It doesn't appear on that list. So I'm gonna add another Perfect. So I have my login there, and I'm actually gonna put another one. So when you get that blue banner, it's just letting you know that that login or that site name does not exist in that drop down, but you can have it added. You can email support@modiohealth.com. Please include the site name as well as the site URL, and if applicable, the state, and that'll have it added to that drop down. But this will not stop you from being able to go in and add your login. You will have to manually add your site. So I'm going to paste my site name there. And then I can go on and add the other information down below. So my username, my password, and then again, any note expires in 90 days. And I'm going to go ahead and add my login. Didn't add any tags this time. And since I'm already filtered by that provider, then we can see that custom populate right here up top. We have our custom. It shows us again that it's a provider. It does know that the name that we've given it. And then if I hit my side panel, we can see the details of that login that we've created. And if you send that to support, once you receive notice back that it has been added to that list, feel free to go in and edit or add login using the newly created site. I'm going to close this side panel. That is everything for logins. If you guys have any questions or you find that, you're having some troubles getting acclimated or you just want to learn more, feel free to pop over to our support page. There is a brand new logins tip guide that is available. It is here. So you can use this to kind of navigate through logins as you're acclimating yourself with Login Speed 2. Perfect. Let me stop sharing.
All right, guys. My screen pull up. Can you confirm that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Happy Wednesday, everybody. So, exciting. We did an enhancement for our read-only coordinators. So read-only coordinators now have the ability to view V2. So for those of you who don't know, we have a coordinator level access. It's called read only. It's more restricted where when read only coordinators log into the platform, they can only see the provider data within these profiles. They can't make any edits or changes to their profiles. However, they can see general notes and add general notes. They can also upload and download documents. So it's more of like a restricted access. And so now when read only coordinators log in, they have access to this V2 button now. So when they click on the V2 button, it's going to switch screens just like it does with you all here. And now we are in V2 and it's going to parody what I just described, where when you're a read-only coordinator and you log into V2, that coordinator will have access to grid settings. So they can come in here, go to grid settings, and just like us full access coordinators, they can move sections around, reorganize what they want to view. They can toggle on and off grids. So they can set up again almost their own homepage for when they log into the platform to view the provider data. Once they've made their changes, they can click the back arrow and it'll save it. Read-only coordinators also have a single provider view. So if they don't want to view all of this at once, they can just come in and view one provider at a time. And like there's our provider Tommy Boy, and it's going to go to single provider view. And just like in full access, that read-only coordinator will have the ability to go through the different grids. They can open up the records. And just like I had mentioned, they'll see the data, like specifically within this license, but they cannot edit anything. They can customize the grids even further, where they can move columns left and right and organize it how they want to view it here. They come up here to the little ellipsis, this little three dots icon, where if they want to see all records, or in this case with this grid, all state licenses or inactive or active licenses, they can export summaries of this. Because I am in still a single provider view, read-only coordinators can get a PDF summary of this provider's state licenses. They have the little, Sierra calls this the book icon. You can call it the column icon, whatever you want to call it, where they can toggle on and off different columns within this grid. So if I'm somebody that wants to view those provider tags, because now we can have them in here and use them by a filter, I can click the provider tag and bam, there's all the provider tags right there within that grid. This functionality will exist for all read-only coordinators in all of the grids within V2. So that's the single provider view. Just like full access coordinators, when you initially launch into V2, you're seeing all of your provider data within these grids. It's going to function the same way with read-only coordinators, where I'm viewing all of my provider state licenses within this team. They can close these grids out, open them up. When they open up the little side panel here, this is where that read-only coordinator will be able to view general notes. That's specifically what they can see. So they can come in here and they can add a general note. If there's any documents attached to that particular record, they can see those documents attached to it. They can also upload a document as well, if that's what they want to do. And they also have access up here in the top right corner where there's this little sections, where they can go up here just like a full access coordinator and narrow down to what grids they care about. So like if they want to view the documents grid, they can view all the provider documents. They want to see state licenses and maybe board certifications. They can narrow down their view for this moment to go ahead and view those specific grids. And so that's now live and accessible to read-only coordinators to view V2. So yeah, that's V2, guys. Any questions on this update, team, from that's came in the chat?
There's one in the chat that I'll read. I know you did cover it, but this is a really good question. It says a read-only coordinator can upload documents.
Yes, they can. So they absolutely can upload documents. They can upload documents and also download documents. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? All right, I'll pass it back to you, Sarah.
All right, perfect. So before we end off today, we want to play a little game with you guys. And if you were on that reports the reports ModioU a few weeks back, then you've already done this before. It's Menti, which is super cool. So I'm gonna share my screen. There is gonna be a QR code. You guys will scan the QR code if you have like a smart device, or there's a link which is join. You can join us at menti.com. So you put in menti.com and there is a code. We can, let's see here. Can you guys see it? There's some little icons up top. Can we see the code up?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Trying to make sure there were some little messages popping across the top of my screen. So I was trying to see if everyone can see that. So that code is 79763703. Or again, scan the QR code. I'm going to do it as well, just so that we can make sure all is good. And we're going to give everyone a second just to join. Once I see that we are good to go, I am going to get started. So the way that it works, if you've never used Menti before, when I go to the next screen, that's going to start, and they're just quick few questions, not very many. Some of them are true or false or multiple choice. Just select whatever you choose, you decide is the best answer based on the topics that we've covered today. All right. As soon as I see it looks like the entries are still rolling in. So as soon as I see it slowing down, we will get started. Give it another second or so. All right, perfect. So going to our very first question. A read-only coordinator can see and make changes, make the same changes as a full access coordinator. Is that true or false? A read-only coordinator can see and make the same changes as a full access coordinator. We still have some folks getting their answers in. It looks like most folks want to go with false. True or false? And if you, as you're playing, you'll get to select your answer and you must hit submit for it to appear on the screen once you've selected whichever answer you're going to go with. So make sure you're hitting that submit button. All right, I'm going to display the answer and it is false. So all of you that chose false, then you got it right. Going to the very next question, who can access logins? Read-only coordinators, full access coordinators, all coordinators. Who can access those logins? So we just went through the read-only portion. Who can get to that screen in V2 to add those logins? Full access coordinators or all coordinators can do that. We have a split here as far as the answer.
I think the real question is, do we want read-only coordinators to have access to that? I don't know.
Well, sticking to the facts, Brandon, a read-only coordinator cannot add a login. So that is going to be a full access coordinator feature.
I was gonna add one thing here, sorry. There were a couple of questions in the chat during the login section, and it was, do all coordinators, so if you add a login for like under your coordinator name, can all the coordinators see that? And the answer is yes. And I wonder if that was part of the clarifying
That's true.
question. So just to
So yeah, Leah's right. So they can view, they just can't make changes. So we'll give you guys half a point. If that was your way of thinking, then you got it right. If you were thinking about who could make changes, you also got it right. At least nobody got the other answer, so. All right. Let's go on to the next one. You can store both coordinator and provider logins. Is this true or false? All right, it looks like y'all already know the answer to this. True or false, you can store both coordinator and provider login. So when you're adding a login, can you put your own name and say, hey, I have a CAQH login, or are logins only for provider data? We got some false folks coming in. True. We'll give it another 10 seconds. Perfect. Let's take a look. So the answer is true. So if you can remember when I did the example, I used one provider login and I used one coordinator login. And there's also that option now in that drop down, it says facility coordinator provider. So yes, you have a coordinator login. Going to the next one, and I think this is the last one. There's one more. You can obtain provider logins during the onboarding process. So when you are onboarding your providers and you send that onboarding invite, is there an option to add logins, to request logins through onboarding? We have a lot of folks that have been using onboarding. It looks like you guys know. Can you ask for those logins using onboarding? Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and hit my answer. The answer is true. So when you send out that onboarding invite, there is a section for logins. You could enter the site name. When the provider is completing onboarding, they'll go ahead and add their username and password, and those will be securely stored in the login section. It will automatically see them there once that provider submits and that login is there. You can see them in the logins tab. So true. This is the last one. Where can you download the CV with your logo? V1, V2, both? Where can you download a CV with a logo? And I know that was like one of the very first things that we covered today. So think way back past all the other features that we talked about. CV logo, V1, V2, both. Okay, about another 2 or 3 seconds. All right, the answer is V2. You must download that CD from V2 to get that logo. I do remember you have to check the box. It doesn't happen automatically. Check that box in the very top right corner and say, yes, pull in my team logo to download a CV with the logo. All right, that is everything. Thank you guys so much for playing. We enjoy. Oh, there's one more actually. If you didn't get to answer the last one, then you get to answer this one. Can you change? You can now change the other intervals to which 7 to 14, 365, or 2 years. I almost forgot this one. All right, you guys seem to know the answer. It's 7 to 14 days. You can change that other interval to now. Perfect. So now, thank you for your participation. We really enjoy being able to use Menti and bring you guys these fun interactive games. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. It's a good way to kind of recap all the things that we covered today. So definitely let us know if you guys like that. Last time, Leah, any questions before we end it off today?
So there were a lot of questions in the chat during this one. I think we got answers typed out to everyone.
Okay.
Some of those questions were like very specific to your organization or your workflows. And if we mentioned just sending a quick email to support@modiohealth.com, I would definitely do so. Our team is super helpful, and you can either chat with our support team. It might get escalated to our CSM team. And for certain things, you can request like a very specific training on the way your organization is using the platform. And we're happy to get those set up for you. So yeah, just reach out and we'll see you all at the next ModioU.
All right. Perfect. Bye, guys.
Bye.